This is my wonderful walk to the office in the morning. One part of it, the beginning. Some nice mountains around here. Typical house there. This is one of my favorite trees. Get beautiful apples. And our dogs over there. Oops, over there. And love to bark all night long like they're being tortured. Down there we have our creek. Some places you don't know if are habitated. Now that one clearly is not. That's like many of them around here. This one is hard to tell. Never quite figured it out. There's the next bend in my wonderful walk. If you look up here, look very closely, there's some ruins I've never been to. One of our side roads appears to be mainly habitated. Now you tell me, somebody living there? Again, I've never figured it out. Or not. I think at some point in 6 weeks I would have seen some people there. Here's our local shashlik farm. It's the next bend in the road. You can see the first of the graveyards. This seems to be a family one on the side of the hill. And the example of the homes that are no longer homes. Here's our next cluster of family homes that really are abandoned completely, of course. This is your typical walk downtown, sadly. See the mountains in the background? Not quite mountains, but it feels that way sometimes. It's a very nice neighborhood. They just marched down here, slaughtered everybody they could find. The Dutch troops on the other side of town, waiting for their orders that never came. Typical bullet-ridden home there. This is a cluster of homes, some habitated, some not. Still, we're about, I don't know, half a kilometer from the city square. Here's a picturesque image of the way life used to be, I think. It's a smokehouse for smoking meat. And then back there you have a really more of a Bavarian or Austrian looking home, which is occupied now. the back, I can't tell if it's a landslide or if they've been doing some surface mining. Hard to tell here because there was no regulations for a long time, about 5 years, about what anybody did about anything after the war, so people were taking things everywhere they could find them. Another former family home. These are basically raspberry bushes. They grow more raspberries in this part of the world than any other place in the world. Small apartments here. Appears that that one bottom right, somebody is living there, but the rest are still abandoned. They have filled in a lot of the bullet holes, which is unusual. Must be getting ready for habitation. This one looks like it's slowly coming back to life. No windows or anything, but they've done some exterior cement work for sure. Something's going on there. Those are what you see prevalent, the plastic windows. They don't have the money for glass, so they say. I'm a little skeptical because for things like that there is an abundance of funding available. They just might be illegal habitants. Families still in foreign countries. Here's a mini valley of cluster of homes. Well, cluster is a development industry terminology. It's not really to be used lightly. And the stream meanders all the way downtown and through town. And for some reason, even during our monsoons, it never changed how much water went through there. This is one of the majestic trees. The trees around here are the most beautiful in the world. Well, can't say that, but the most beautiful I've seen in the world. The pines are just majestic. Nobody living there that I can tell. This one, they've got glass windows in. Don't know why. There is a car parked down here once in a while, but it's hard to imagine somebody lives in there. Next door, of course. They've come back home to set up shop. Here's the last bend before we get into town. Again, not really sure if anybody's living in there. But the neighbors' houses, they've made them all nice. They've braved the circumstances and claimed their homes. There's the view back up to the apartment that I stayed in. Motel with the cold water. Here's more of the stream. Used to be a nice house here overlooking the stream, but it's nothing now. There's the all familiar bullet holes. Let me view back up to my cold shower. That's the last bend. It takes you right into town. You can see the people gathered there. That's the textile factory, Almaraz. Our local facility that does underwear. Of the most rather boring design I've seen. But it provides jobs. And the factory is right across the street from the director of the UN here, who doesn't like to complain about the noise, but we know the real story. Those sewing machines go on 2 shifts a day. That can drive you crazy. I should have taken that picture. That woman who just drove by is from the Methodist Church in North Carolina. They came here a week ago, and they're building barns and fixing up the town. Actually, not the town, the villages. They come here once a year. Here's the continuation of our stream. Cuts right through the back of the houses, which is wonderful if you're in the houses, I think. There's another one of the family graveyards. These are extremely small compared to the ones on the other side of town. Sadly, both are sad. And this house is habitated. It's got a nice setup there. Everybody's getting ready for winter. Cutting wood, as they don't have gas here. Oil is too expensive and wood is in abundance. We've actually been cutting wood for a long time, but we've had a cold snap here. It went down to freezing and 26 centimeters of snow in the ski area, so people prematurely used up much of their wood. Got to start again. Another view of downtown. Fix those bullet holes, but this building is not getting the attention. We are using a lot of these old buildings that are not habitated for storage, so that middle floor might be habitated. Storage of firewood. Here's one of the successful retailers, hardware. Makes sense. Here is one of the memorials from the Orthodox. This little chapel down below the family graveyard up there. A nice serene hillside. Constant reminder in your backyard. There's a nice little house. This is right downtown, and there's another family graveyard hidden away in the mountains there. Still uninhabited. That's City Square. You can't really see it too well here yet, but right down there, where we're going now. We are looking back uphill again towards my cold shower motel. I don't know if you can see this, but this is a typical apple tree that is alive and well, bearing tons of fruit for all. It's a good thing trees don't care what's going on around them, huh? That's what you call a warm, cozy bed. An old 120, 1200 bug. Wow. See, more apple trees. They're everywhere. And there are raspberry bushes. And the inevitable graveyard. And here's the stream again, right downtown. This house here, I think they're trying to bring it back to life again. There's a couple of our friends from the neighborhood. There's 300 or 400 wild dogs now as a result of the unfortunate events where the masters were taken from them. It's now illegal to abuse the dogs because there was a lot of that kind of thing going on. Former garage. Way up the top of the hill is an old hotel for tourism. It's